Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Monday, everyone's favorite day of the week, especially mine. I'm here for our 3 o'clock program today, and I am at what I like to call the backyard of Keikle Visitor Center because just right there next to me, actually I'll just show you, is the Keikle Visitor Center. It's a part of Redwood National and State Parks, and it is one of my favorite visitor centers because it's right on the beach. And the beach is just on this trail past me. I was going to take you all down to the coast, right to the water's edge today, but it's super windy down there. So we're adjusting, and I figured I would start out by showing you this view, but we're going to move into a little more protected spot so you can hear what I have to tell you today. So I thought I would start everybody off with a little ocean view. There's actually 2 marine protected areas right there, and that's what we're going to talk about today. They are called Redding Rock State Marine Reserve and State Marine Conservation Area. And of course, we're talking about the marine environment and about MPAs because today is MPA Monday, or Marine Ecosystem Monday. So thanks everybody for being here. We do these programs every day at 3. We're so excited. Oh, can people not hear me? Let me know if you can hear me or if you can't. Okay, I'll let some people respond while we move over to our new location. Say bye to the beach, everyone. Alrighty. Here we are. I don't see anybody else saying that they can't hear me, so hopefully all is well. So we are in our more protected spot because it's really windy today, but I wanted to give you a sneak peek of the ocean and of 2 marine protected areas right next to Keikle Visitor Center. So if you're up visiting us in the North Coast Redwoods District or visiting Redwood National and State Parks, the Visitor Center is open with sort of COVID protocols, so come on by and grab some information, whatever you need, and take a look at our marine protected areas just off the coast. So, of course, I'm Angie, and I'm an interpreter for California State Parks. Thanks so much for everyone who is here and who continues to be here. Oh, it looks like I'm freezing. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. It will record us and post after if the connection's not good. So, all right, everyone. So Redding Rock, Redding Rock is just offshore here, and there are 2 marine protected areas right next to it, between basically the rock and the shore. And I have a map here of those 2 places. We have our red one, our State Marine Reserve. This is a place where you're not allowed to take anything. So if you like to fish, this is your no fishing zone. And our blue one, our Redding Rock State Marine Conservation Area, is another type of MPA that basically limits some take, but you're allowed to take some things. Okay, so we have 2 MPAs. I'm probably standing like right here. And today I want to talk about some of the animals that live in and benefit from the marine protected areas that are right behind me here at Keikle Visitor Center. And essentially, an easy way of putting this is that there's 2 types of benefits that animals can have from marine protected areas. One of them is called a direct benefit, and one of them is called an indirect benefit. Now, many of the animals that benefit directly from our marine protected areas are small animals that have a small home range. So imagine never leaving your neighborhood. These animals are basically potentially born in the MPA and spend their entire lives in the MPA. So if they're living in the red one, our State Marine Reserve, that means they're going to be protected for their entire life. So that is a very direct benefit from that protection, right? But there's also some animals that maybe don't spend their entire life in an MPA. So maybe they travel in and out, maybe they're migratory, and those animals can still gain a benefit. It's just called an indirect benefit. So you can see some arrows here. Our indirect benefit animals are traveling out of our MPAs, and our directly benefiting animals are kind of staying within our protected zone, okay? So what I thought would be fun for all of you to do is I brought some small animal figurines, And I want to ask you to help guess or to help decide, and I'll tell you what the truth is, which animals directly benefit and which animals indirectly benefit from MPAs. So I'm going to shake up our little bin. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. Yay. Okay. Looks like we've got about half and half. So our first animal, I'm going to just pick a random one. Remember, our directly benefiting animals live in our MPA their entire life. So generally these animals are small. And we also have some animals that travel in and out of our MPAs. Okay, here we go. First animal is a sea star. What do you think? Go ahead and type in the comments which type of benefit you think a sea star gets in our marine protected areas. Do you think it's a direct benefit or an indirect benefit? Do, 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 do. Okay, let's see, people. What do you think? Sea star. With your guess, go ahead and write the name of the animal and the type of benefit you think that they get from marine protected areas in honor of MPA Monday. All right, everybody, I see you out there. Type your guesses in. For our sea star, do you think these animals potentially spend their whole life in an MPA, or do you think they travel in and out regularly? Awesome. Catherine said direct. Catherine, you are right. Go ahead and tap yourself on the back. Our sea stars generally have direct benefit from marine protected areas, even if the MPAs are generally small, because these animals don't travel a whole lot of distance in their life, but they do move around quite a bit. I've had the pleasure of watching these animals very slowly kind of scuttle along the bottom. So this one is a direct benefit. Thanks, everybody, for participating. All of your guesses are coming in now. All right, let's see. Okay, our next animal, this little figurine isn't exactly scientifically accurate, but I would say it represents a sea lion / harbor seal. It's kind of a mix of the two. Do you think this is a direct benefit or an indirect benefit? This one is sort of tricky. And we're going to actually introduce a new concept that maybe some of you haven't heard of before when it comes to MPAs related to this animal. What do you think, direct or indirect? Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for guessing. Still getting some sea star guesses coming in. We have a more charismatic fauna here, our cute, cuddly marine mammals, sea lions or harbor seals. Kind of has the coloring of a harbor seal, but the appendages of a sea lion. What do we think? Direct or indirect? Which one do you guess? This one's tricky. Maybe you're thinking about it. These animals actually directly benefit from MPAs, and that is because we have a special type of MPA called a special closure, and these are specifically located around offshore rocks that are haul-out sites for these guys, places where they go to rest and breed, have their babies. So in many MPAs, they are direct because of those special closures and maybe protected stretches of beaches where they are resting. So this one actually is direct. Although this animal doesn't spend their entire life in an MPA, there are certain MPAs that are created just to protect them. So pretty neat. All right, my friends, let's pick another one. This is a personal favorite. Sorry, these are very small figurines. I'm going to call this one a rockfish, or an animal that we've heard about before called a big old fertile female fish, or a boss. Do you think this animal directly or indirectly benefits from MPAs? Now we know fish, they love to swim, but do they directly benefit from MPAs? What do you think? Maybe some of you have eaten rockfish before. I know I have. They're pretty yummy. Lots of people like to fish for these guys and gals. Now, remember, if you've listened to our live stream about big, old, fertile female fish, you might have remembered that these fish actually have a fairly small home range. So these are actually a directly benefiting species of our MPAs. And we also directly benefit from having them in our MPAs because as they get older and as they get bigger, they can have exponentially more babies, right? So they are really contributing to the spillover effect, right? Our MPA is getting really full of life and then spilling over into unprotected waters. So our rockfish do directly benefit from MPAs because they surprisingly have a small home range. All right, my friends, I have a fun one now. Sometimes people love to talk about these animals because they are the ultimate charismatic megafauna that people come from all over the world to see these animals, especially off the coast of California. You might even be able to see them from the backyard of Kekel Visitor Center, where I am right now. Do you think these animals directly or indirectly benefit from marine protected areas? This, of course, is a whale, particularly a baleen whale. I don't see a hump on its back, so it's probably not a humpback, but it's a generic mysticete or baleen whale. Now, even though these animals are often people's favorite animals to talk about, and people come from all over to see them in our coastal waters, these animals don't directly benefit from MPAs because, think about it, they're so big. So they don't spend their entire life in MPAs. In fact, they migrate hundreds of miles throughout the course of the year and throughout their lives. But they do, in fact, pass through our marine protected areas, and they definitely benefit from the abundance of food that is created by having a protected space in the ocean, right? So this would be an indirect benefit. It doesn't mean that they don't benefit from MPAs at all. It just means that they're not directly benefiting from the protection, but maybe benefiting from an abundance of food, right? All right, let's do one more. I'll show you this little diagram again. Again, we have our two MPAs that are right here. Luckily at Redding Rock, we have two MPAs right next to each other. So our directly benefiting species actually have more room to be protected in between these two spaces. And then like our whale might be swimming through, stop here for a really abundant snack since we have lots of animals protected here, and then we'll go on its way, right, on its journey along the coast. Direct and indirect. All right, let's try one more. Another favorite. This doesn't represent a specific species of shark in particular, but people always love to talk about sharks, especially with me when I say that I work around the ocean a lot and sometimes go swimming in the ocean even. People are concerned about me and these guys. So what do you think, direct or indirect? This one's also a bit tricky. Maybe if you know a little bit about our coastal marine life. Let's see, what do you think for the sharks? I will tell you that we have many species of sharks off the coast of California. The first one that people always think of is the white shark, which everyone seems to be very afraid of, but in reality, they are just doing their thing in their natural environment. But we also have a lot of smaller sharks in California too, like horn sharks and leopard sharks that are really abundant in the beautiful state of California. In general, our sharks, especially our bigger, more migratory sharks, are indirectly benefiting from MPAs because they like to eat those marine mammals that are directly benefiting, right? So they might go, an MPA might be a hunting hotspot for these animals because they know that there's more animals there. Well, they don't know it's an MPA, but they might be able to see that more animals are living in a certain area, right? Great job, David. You guessed direct. And like I mentioned, our smaller sharks more directly benefit from MPAs. But our bigger, more migratory sharks, like the white sharks and the blue sharks, they're an indirect benefit. So great job, everyone. Thanks for playing along. I hope that was fun and that you learned something, and that every time you see an MPA now, maybe you see some small things washed up on the beach. Lately, there's been a lot of crab carapaces and mussel shells and all types of cool stuff washing up during our high tides. So you might be able to make the inference that, hey, if there's a Dungeness crab carapace right here, that probably means there's Dungeness crab living in this marine protected area. And based on their size and what you know about them, you might know whether they directly or indirectly benefit from the MPA. So if you have a chance, head out to the coast and say, thank you, MPA, for directly and indirectly benefiting all these amazing animals that we love and know in California. So I hope everybody has a great Monday. We do these programs every day at 3 o'clock, and of course, in the age of COVID, we know that it's a bit of a challenge for everybody to get out to our parks. So we want to make sure you still feel connected to us and to these beautiful, special places, even during these challenging times. So thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow and every day of the week at 3 o'clock for more live streams. See you next week. Bye.